Hi guys, Gorkum here from Flight Buff, and thank you for coming back for yet another great episode. Um, Today I'm going to start off with my shameless plug to ask that if you like the videos that I'm posting, please give them a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. So in this episode, I'm going to take you through an app that I created a few years ago, which is freely available through iTunes and Google Play, which is called GA Flight Tracker and Navigation. When you think of it, EFB or some sort of a navigation tool on your device, the first thing most pilots will say is ForeFlight. Unfortunately, ForeFlight comes with a hefty yearly membership, and unfortunately, it's only available for Apple devices, and Android devices are long forgotten. Um, I created this app a few years ago simply to track and share my training flights with my friends and family, as well as help me improve my circuit training in and around the airport. Since then, obviously, I've become a fully licensed pilot, and now I wanted to use something that's going to help me with just navigation wherever I go. Um, so I've created some extensive navigation tools, flight planning, live audio, live video, obstacle avoidance, and so much more. And also, did I mention that it's free? I'm going to provide the link to both the iTunes and Google Play version down below in the comments. So if you're interested, give it a try. You've got nothing to lose, and hopefully you're going to like what you see. So what are we waiting for? Let's just jump right in and see how this amazing tool can change how you navigate and fly through the skies. Hi guys, thanks for joining me. So let's just jump right in. We're going to launch the app on my Android device. When you first launch it, you're going to get the splash screen along with the disclaimer. The disclaimer is basically going to let you know that you should not be using this as your primary source of navigation. This tool has not been, and I have to stress this tool has not been approved by Transport Canada or the FAA, so therefore you cannot use this as your primary source of navigation. So once we go through the disclaimer, just click the agree button at the bottom and your initial map will come up. Now, what you're going to see here on my version is with the Vfr Sectional Maps. You can download these maps by going to the side panel, which I'm going to show you in a moment. But essentially, it'll give you VFR Sectional Maps for all of North America or any of 18 different European countries that I have available as well. So a couple of things to note here. So at the very bottom of the screen, you'll notice that you have your current track, your ground speed, and your current altitude. The current altitude I have set, and if you look at the very top of the screen here, you'll notice that there's a pressure box. The pressure will update automatically with the closest station. In this case would be Toronto Pearson Airport, or CYYZ. And we'll pick up the current pressure, which will give you your altitude. You can switch this to use your GPS setting instead if you don't want to update based on the current barometric pressure. So up at the top corner as well, you'll notice the top left corner, you'll notice the current time in Zulu time. This will obviously help you when you're trying to communicate with flight services or do any additional flight planning that you want to do without having to calculate what the current Zulu time is. Excuse me. So down the side, we're going to have a couple of different options, and some of these options are only available after you've signed in. Now, there's no cost to sign up, but in order to obtain some of these tools, we need to have an account created so that we can keep some of these settings as part of your account. primarily starting a flight or doing a flight plan, for instance. We need a place to store that information so you can get it back afterwards. So for that, you need to create an account, and it just takes a quick second. If you have a Facebook or Gmail account, you can use that to sign in very quickly with minimal effort. So let's start from the top. So the top is the Hamburger Menu button. So when you click it, it will open up the side panel menu with all the other options for you. Underneath that is your logout button. So when you click that, it's going to log you out of your current account so that you can log into another account if you have more than one. Underneath that is your nearest airports button. And we're going to get to all these functionalities as we go through each and every feature of this app. Underneath that, you'll also notice a direct to button. Great for when you're flying and you just want to go direct to a new airport and you just want some navigation assistance for that. Underneath that button, the one with the circles and the little arrow, is your flight planning button, which will allow you to create and update any flight plans that you have in the system. Underneath that is to start a flight. When you start a flight, that's basically saying you want to record the current flight. Along with recording the current flight, you're going to record any onboard audio if you choose to, or if you want to broadcast your live video, you can also do that. Underneath that is a little gray microphone button. When that is red, that means you've set the app to record your onboard audio. And I should also preface this, in order to record the onboard audio, you do need a special aircraft audio cable, which you can purchase from Amazon if you need to. I will provide the link to that special wire in the description below as well. Underneath that is your map center button. So if you start looking around, so if I move the map around as such, I can click that button and it will recenter myself back onto the screen. Once you've centered, the icon will disappear, just to let you know that you are tracking yourself on the map, and the map will move accordingly. But the minute you move the map again, you're no longer tracking yourself on the map, and you're going to have to press that button to recenter yourself again. The button underneath that is live weather update, and by live weather update, it basically updates precipitation overlay over top of the map, so you can see where the precipitation is. And so I just clicked it, and you can see it's giving me some precipitation overlays over top of the map, so areas which I may want to avoid while I'm flying. So you can turn that off and on through that button as well. So let's start from the top down, and we'll start with the Hamburger Menu and all the options in there. When you click the Hamburger Menu, the side menu bar will open up. It will give you what account you're signed into at the very top. You can always change your picture by clicking on the picture itself and allow you to update your profile picture. It'll outline how many followers you have, how many people you are following yourself, and how many flights in total you've taken with this app, and the total flight time that this app has recorded for you. As I mentioned before, you can turn your VFR Sectionals off and on. When you download maps, the VFR Sectionals are downloaded onto the device itself, so you do not need an internet connection to view the maps. However, if you do turn it off, the device will require some sort of internet connection to download the maps as you fly. And they're not the sectional maps, it is just a regular Google map that will display with the streets and whatnot. To popular demand, a lot of people asked if they could also see commercial flights displayed on this map. So by default, the only flights displayed or other aircraft that are displayed on here are general aviation, smaller aircraft that will show up that is either using the app or broadcasting ADS-B. If you do turn this on, it will show commercial aircraft as well. Unless you're flying up into the higher altitudes, it's really not something that you would need to have on. So by default, it is off, but you can turn it on at any point. Same thing with obstacle avoidance. Obstacle avoidance, usually will probably want to turn that on after you've started your flight. When you're on the ground, you're going to get a bunch of warnings saying there's obstacles at your altitude or higher. I would recommend to keep that off for now until you start your flight, and then it will show you where the obstacles are at your altitude or higher within a 10 nautical mile range of where you are. You can also turn off your precipitation radar on and off from this screen as well. So you can, again, flip it on or flip it off from here, or you can use that icon on the main screen. I spoke a little bit about the barometric pressure. So the altitude sensor I have set to right now is based on the barometer. You can always switch that back to GPS or go barometer. For more accurate altitude reception, I would strongly suggest that you keep it on barometer, and that way then you'll have the most accurate depiction of what your altitude is. Now again, there are slight differences from what you may see on this app versus what you see in the aircraft, but you may be off by several feet, maybe 10 or 20 feet, give or take. You can also change your profile to be public or private from the screen as well. So there is a website that friends and family can go to see your past flights, or to watch you live as you fly and listen in on what's happening on the aircraft. And I'll get to that shortly as well. But again, you can flick on public or private from this switch as we feel. You can manage your account details by clicking on Manage Account Details. You can see your current flight log. Here we'll show you a lot of great information. So all the different aircrafts that you have flown. Most people will have one or two. Because I rent all my aircraft, you'll see a whole range of different aircraft here. It'll tell you how many times you've flown the aircraft and the total flight time in that particular aircraft. Down below, we'll give you a little breakdown of what each flight was. You can see the date of the flight, whether it contains onboard audio or no audio at all. Any other information that you've put in, like your departure, your arrival, any flight notes that you may have put in before you started your flight. You can share or unshare your flight from the screen as well. So when you share a flight, it makes it available for other people on the website to be able to see your flight track, as well as listen into your onboard audio. You can also review your own flight. If you click on that, you can delete any flights that you no longer want, either on the website or on your phone. It'll also remove it as part of your flight summary. So if you delete a flight, you will not see it in this upper portion here as well. Let's go back. You can manage your followers and how many people are following you by simply clicking on that. You can switch who you're following as well, and switch back and forth. You can block certain people if you do not want them following you. You can download the offline VFR sectionals as you see them on my screen previously. You can also download offline airports. So what this will allow you to do is when you're doing a direct to or nearest airports, it won't have to go out to the internet to grab the list of airports. Having it directly on your device will help it not only be faster, but in case you're in an area where cell reception is not the greatest, you can still get the most relevant nearest airports or direct to waypoints that you need to set. These other couple of buttons at the bottom here, search pilots, search aircraft, and go to website, will all take you to the website, to the relevant sections, whether you want to search for a specific pilot, search for an aircraft by call sign, or if you want to just visit the website in general. Now, to close this window, you can either swipe to the left, or you can click the Hamburger menu again, and it'll close it right back up for you. You can see here on the screen a couple of different aircraft that are flying, broadcasting their ADS-B. So we can track those aircraft by simply clicking on the aircraft itself, and it will tell you some relevant information about that aircraft. What the call sign is, any departure destination that they're going to. In this case, they haven't filed anything, they're not using the app. It will tell you the current altitude, their current ground speed, and whether or not they're ascending or descending. You'll notice also on the tracking, you'll notice a red line extruding out from the front of the aircraft. That indicates where the airplane will be within 5 minutes of flight time. So in this case, the person is now doing 58 knots. Based on the ground speed, they will be at the very end part of that red line within 5 minutes if they continue in that same direction. Coming out the back end, you'll notice a green line. This is the past track that the aircraft has taken. So you can see how the aircraft is flying in case you want to see if there's a certain pattern that they're doing, so you can avoid them if you need to. To get rid of that, simply click on the bottom section of the screen, and it will just take that away. Now we can jump down to nearest airport. So nearest airports is kind of neat. It'll take your current position and then figure out the 10 closest airports to where you currently are. So in this instance, we're going to see a bunch come up. One of them will be Toronto Pearson. One of them will be Brampton Flight Center or Brampton Airport, along with City Center Airport or Billy Bishop, Downsview, and some others that are in and around. So let's go ahead and click that. You'll notice, like I said, we have Toronto Pearson, Billy Bishop, Burlington Airport, Toronto City, Downsview Airport, Brampton Airport, and then there's some other private airports as well that do pop up here in case you need to use them. I do list oops, I just clicked on it, so let's back out of that for a moment. Let's go back in. You can select any one of these airports to go direct to just by clicking on the airport. Airports that have more than 2 frequencies listed will have a multi-frequency button. When you click on the multi-frequency button, you will see all the frequencies available for that particular airport. This will give you the ability to tune into whatever frequency you need to for that particular airport that you may want to fly into. So for now, what I'll do is I will set Brampton Airport as my destination. The little arrows that you see here is based on your current track. Will tell you which direction and how far the airport is from your current location. So we'll go ahead and click that. You will notice a magenta line going out from my current position directly to Brampton Airport. Along with that, at the bottom, it activates the flight plan feature, letting me know that I have 13.64 nautical miles to go. Because I'm not actually moving right now, there's no estimated leg time remaining. The total distance left to fly, it'll tell me my remaining en route time, and as well as the required track I need, or ground track. Let me preface that by saying it's the ground track required to get to my destination. Excuse me. You'll notice a new button has been added to the list of buttons down the side. It's a fast track. So if you have multiple legs, you can skip to the next leg by clicking that, for whatever reason. If you decide not to go to a checkpoint that you have previously selected, you can skip that by clicking the fast track button. You can clear this out by clicking any of the nearest airports, direct to, or start a flight buttons. Will clear your current flight plan, and you're free to fly wherever you want to go again. The next button down is your direct to. So we can click our direct to. It'll ask you for an airport code to look for. So in this instance, we can say we're looking for CNC3, which would be Brampton Airport. We can say search, and up comes the airport information. It will tell us that we have 13 nautical miles to that airport. What the airport elevation is in this instance, it says 935 feet ASL. We can navigate directly to it by clicking on it, or we can just close it out. So we'll go ahead and click on it. You'll notice it draws that magenta line for us to follow again. And again, we'll update our active flight plan at the bottom so that we can see how much distance is left to go and what the required track is for our flight. Go ahead and cancel that out. I'm going to skip over flight plan for now. I just want to go over starting a flight. So when you're starting a flight, you can type in the call sign of the aircraft. In this case, I'm just going to punch in my arch nemesis, Golf, Foxtrot, Foxtrot, Zulu. Once you tab out of that box, you'll notice that the airplane details will be automatically filled in if that plane is already in the system. If this airplane has never been put into the system before, it will be blank, and you'll be required to fill out some minor information about that aircraft so that we can display for anybody else that may see you on their radar as well. If you have any saved flight plans, you can click the Save Flight Plan and go ahead and select any one of these. We can say cross-country London. I did put some flight notes in there previously so that it'll automatically populate. Departure from CNC3 and arrival back to CNC3. Now behind the scenes, I have all the relevant information already done in my flight plan, and we'll get to that shortly. But if you do not have a flight plan, you can just simply punch in the details yourself here. It will not give you any flight tracking to follow, or a magenta line for you to follow on the map itself, but at least it will record the flight for you, and you'll be able to review it later on. You can also turn on or off the onboard audio recording here, or you can also turn on your YouTube live video. What this is great for is if you have your phone posted or perched up somewhere in the aircraft, and you might want your friends and family to watch you fly the aircraft, you can turn on YouTube live video. You must have a YouTube channel or YouTube account in order to link the upload to. And what it will do is, from the website, when they click on your aircraft, they'll be able to see that you are broadcasting live video. They will be able to click on it and watch it. The video will be saved in your account and allow you to enable it as part of your videos that anybody else can watch at any given time later on as well. When you're ready, click on Start Flight, and your flight will be ready to go. You'll notice that the aircraft icon will be flashing on and off to let you know that it is recording a flight. Now, we covered a lot of these great features. I'm going to jump right into flight planning, which is one of the newest features that was added to the app. Instead of going to the website and creating your flight plan from there, you can always click on this. It'll give you a list of all the flight plans that you have within the system, give you the ability to delete any flight plans that you currently have, which are no longer needed. Last thing you want is a big clutter of flight plans in here that you just no longer need. For the one that I usually test with is my Muskoka cross country here. And I'll click it. You can always start a new flight plan if you want, but I'm just going to load one that's already pre-done for you, just so you can see what it looks like. Go ahead and load that. It's going to load the flight plan, and this is my flight plan from Brampton Airport to Muskoka via Collingwood. Now, we didn't actually land at Collingwood, but it is one of our waypoints. And you'll notice each waypoint is with a red flag, and you will notice some blue check marks. Those are our checkpoints. When you go to print out your flight plan from the website, these checkpoints will be listed on your navigation log as well. Now, the navigation logs are made primarily in accordance with the Brampton Flight Center navigation logs, so that they don't differ from what I've been trained on using. You're more than welcome to take that and transfer that into a different type of navigation log that you feel more comfortable using. A lot of the calculations will be done for you in terms of weight and balance, your fuel requirements, your endurance, your waypoints, the timings for the waypoints, how much distance left to go for each waypoint, as well as your wind calculations, and everything is pretty much done for you when you print out the navigation log from the website. From here, you have the ability to update your flight plan simply by, you can take it, you can long hold one of the points and you can just drag it around. And by dragging it, you can see it's already changing the distance that I have to travel. So if I wanted to go, let's say, to Toronto Pearson Airport after hitting Muskoka, I'm just going to drag it a little bit more center-wise there. You'll notice that my flight plan has now changed, and the distance has now changed to 191 nautical miles. I can go ahead, I can click on my draw tool, and I can go ahead and add some checkpoints to this as well. So I can say, I want to create a checkpoint for the section right there, and I can go back and rename that to be whatever that checkpoint is meant to be. So for this instance, it would be, it looks like Alliston. All right, so this would be a checkpoint for Alliston. So when I look over to the left side of my my window, as I'm flying, when I hit that spot, I should see Alliston. I can draw some additional waypoints. So let's say after I hit Toronto Pearson, I want to go back up to Muskoka. I can then click on that location. It's going to give me all the stuff that matches closest to where I just clicked my finger. I can click Muskoka Airport because that's where I want to go, and it drops a pin in that section as well. So now we're ready to fly out to Muskoka. Now you'll notice that this last leg is coming out from Brampton Airport. That's because I did create a return flight from Toronto Pearson, or originally it was to go up to Muskoka and back to Brampton. I moved that Muskoka point to Toronto, so it is out to Collingwood, to Toronto, back to Brampton, and now I'm flying back out to Muskoka. I can get a list of all my waypoints and my checkpoints by clicking the list tool, which is located at the very right side of the bottom menu down below. If you click that, you get all your segments. You can rename them. You can make them whatever you want. You can put in your MOCA and your segment altitude, or your desired altitude for that segment. It'll give you your true heading, your magnetic heading, the magnetic variation, and the distance from your last checkpoint, or sorry, your waypoint. You can edit the details of your flight plan, the flight plan name, the aircraft you want to use, what your desired BHP is, and your cruising altitude. Now, for the most part, these are not relevant for using the flight planning on the device itself. We do not take any of those calculations in terms of weight and balance, fuel requirements, what your fuel burn is in the app itself. If you do choose to go to the website and print out a flight plan, this will become useful because this is what will be used to determine what the fuel burn rate is, your weight and balance, your en route time. All that stuff will be determined based on some of this information that you plug in here. We do have another hamburger menu at the top. The hamburger menu at the top will open up the side menu. Again, we'll give you another rundown of what your segments are. You're welcome to delete any of them that you do not require anymore. There's some icons at the bottom here as well. You'll notice on CYQA, or I should rename that to CYYZ. However, you'll notice a landing airplane. That's because we've identified that we will be landing at that location. And again, that comes in handy when you're printing out your navigation log from the website. That will determine your landing gas requirements, your circuit procedures, all that stuff. So it will calculate the fuel requirements based on those as well. At the very beginning, or the second icon, is a map pin icon. When you click that, you can add additional segments by entering airport codes. This makes it so you don't have to search for it on your map. You can just type it in, and it will automatically add it to your flight plan as a new waypoint. When you're ready, you can save your flight plan, or you can load or start a new flight plan using the buttons at the top. We're not going to do either of those at the moment, but those options are available up there. Then you have that arrow, that back arrow at the very top. That's basically going to get you out of your flight planning. If you've saved your flight plan, what you can do is you can, obviously I haven't saved, so it's letting me know that I need to save before I exit. I'll go ahead and say no for now. Oh, sorry. I meant I'm going to say yes to exit without saving. Go back to our screen. Sorry, my apologies. Then when we come to start our flight, you will see your flight plan listed in the list here, and you can activate any which one you would like. If you've created a new one, you can do that as well. And it will give you some flight navigation. I'll go ahead and quickly start one with a flight plan, just so you can see what that looks like. I'll do the Muskoka one. And again, I'll select my arch nemesis. And we'll go ahead, we'll start the flight. When you start the flight, you will see the magenta lines drawn for you. And as you fly, you can make sure that you're flying in the right direction and that you're flying your correct flight plan route. You'll notice that my little aircraft icon is flashing on and off to let me know that I have started a flight. I can always stop that flight by clicking on the airplane button again as well. And my current flight has now ended. With that pretty much concludes the use of the app as a general basic overview. What I can do is I can turn on commercial flights as well. And you'll notice some commercial flights pop up onto the screen. There we go. And I can go ahead and click on this one. You'll notice this is an Air Canada flight. It's an Airbus A320. Looks like it's inbound to Toronto. We can zoom in a little bit. And this is the flight path. It is now descending from 14,000 feet into Toronto. Now, the 5-minute marker line that you see coming out of the planes that you are tracking, there is one available for your aircraft as well. So it is blue, light blue in color. What you will see is a blue line coming out based on your current speed. So if you're slowing down, speeding up, that blue line will change as your speed goes up and down, and you will be able to see where you will be within the next 5 minutes if you maintain that current heading. And with that, that's all the cool features for now. There are other features that are currently being built in. I am building this myself, so it does take time, and I'm building them both for Android and Apple devices as well. So all in all, I'm trying to keep everything consistent and the same for both apps on both devices. So it does take a little bit of time. So I do apologize if one version does come out before the other. It's because I haven't had the chance to finish updating the other version. So with that, I'd like to close by asking you all to write your comments, what you like, what you don't like about the app in the comments below as well. I'll be more than happy to answer them. And if there's any great suggestions or anything that you would like to see in the app, please let me know, because so the more feedback I can get, the better it is and the better the app will get. Again, it is a free download from Google Play and iTunes, so feel free to download it, try it out, see what you like, what you don't like, and please do let me know. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe, or smash that subscribe button, and don't forget to click the little bell to know about any other videos that may be coming out in the near future. Until then, take care and fly safe.